Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Schwa Mill, where every single Saturday we help you craft your accent. You can send in your pronunciation files and we give you feedback to try and get a more natural accent in American English pronunciation, if that is your goal. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath, which is one of the four key ingredients to achieve a more natural sound in American English, along with placement, pitch, weakening consonant sounds, and strengthening your vowel sounds. Now, we are at a slightly different time for today. My apologies for that. We have some things going on, just like with travel and events and things like that. So we're at a different time today. We're also going to be at a different time next week as well. And then after that, so after next week, we will be back to our 1:30 p.m. New York time. So just ask for your patience this week and next week as we just kind of go through some different patterns and things like that. I do want to say some quick hellos. Hello to Edward, who made a mention be difficult to stop by just because of time zones. Totally understand. And then also hello to Shok. So, in case this is your first time being with us, what we do in the Schwa Mill is we take a listen to pronunciation files that you send, and then we give you some feedback. But you may be like, how does that work? How can I hear you where we are not in the same space? So I'm going to walk you through the steps. You may have noticed in the video description that there is a link to a Google document. Okay. This is what the Google document looks like right here. Because this is how I'm able to hear everybody and get feedback and things like that. So I just put it in the chat box as well, so you guys will be able to see that in case you want to send some file. This is the same document we use every single live stream. So if you're watching this in the future, hello from the past, and you want to get in a file with us that we can take a look at, honestly, you can just kind of any day of the week, you can kind of just put it like right down here and just make a note, like save for next week, something like that. And that way I'll see that and I'll know, okay, they want us to listen to the file in the next episode. So we'll be happy to do that. Or if you're with us net right now and you want us to listen to your pronunciation, you can see that we already have about 5 files that we're going to get through. I'll be honest, it's kind of late here. It's been a long day. I'm going to do my best to get through these and give meaningful impact, though we may be a little bit brief with some of the things that we do. So just a note there, but I would love to take a listen to your file and give you some quick suggestions. You're going to see at the top of the Google Doc, there are in fact directions. It says go to vocaroo.com. What is vocaroo.com? Well, vocaroo.com looks a little bit like this. And when you're at vocaroo.com, you're going to see that big red record button. What you're going to do is you're going to press record. It's going to start taking in. When you have finished your recording, you're going to see that there's an option that says save and share. If you click save and share, you'll see this link. You copy it, you'll paste it into our Google Doc, and that's it. Those are the only things you need to do for us to be able to hear your file. And that again is for today's stream, right now, or any future stream as well. Now, as we go through this, you may also be like, okay, Jeff, that's cool, but how is you're going to help me with one file? In terms of my life, one file that's like 10 seconds long, that's not the most helpful. I got you. I totally understand. If you are serious about studying American English pronunciation or any pronunciation for that matter, it really needs to be something that you study a little bit every day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We have so many ways that you can get that time in. We have our YouTube videos, which are completely free. We have a Telegram group, which is for $5 a month. Basically, what you can do is you can send in files. This is what it looks like. And then I give you, and my assistant teacher and I, we give you feedback. Every single day, you can send in multiple files. You could do past challenges and things like that. We would love to have you in the Telegram group. Okay, you can go to fluentamerican.com to sign up. We also have a Mission English program. In Mission English, it's a little bit more intense. Every single day, Monday through Friday, we meet twice a week at this schedule, New York time, for 30 minutes in a small group live pronunciation class. You can ask questions, we do exercises together, and it's super helpful because I know we all have different accents, but we all have very similar issues with regards to placement, pitch, breath, and things like that. Now, if either of those opportunities sound interesting to you, a quick note that in our Telegram group, there's some big news. Currently, it's $5 a month. I only have 4 more spaces left at that rate. We're running out of spaces. One person actually just took a space. Another person's asking about. So there might only actually be 3 left. So there's 4 spaces left at $5 a month. We'll still have the program. It's going to go up in price. So this is the time to get it before other people do. So just a note about that. All right, I think that kind of ends all my spiels and things. You guys can let me know if you have questions about pronunciation, accents, English, life, the universe. I can't guarantee answers to any of those things, but I can guarantee you that I will at least try. I think then that allows us to kind of jump right into your files. So then let's get into it, right? Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here? I'm going to share my screen and my sound once more, and we are going to begin looking at your pronunciation files. We may not be able to listen to the entirety of every file, but at least a few seconds worth, and then give you some feedback based on what I hear. Give us a moment to load that up. All right. In no particular order, let's go start here.
It's your birthday, so you should spoil yourself. Order whatever you want from the restaurant.
Okay. Here is. Oh, whoops. Did I put that in the wrong spot? In case you're curious about the words, here are the words, or you can try and follow along with what you hear.
It's your birthday, so you should spoil yourself. Order whatever you want from the restaurant.
I think the general rhythms here are good. I like that when you're changing from one thought group to the next, you do have some movement in the pitch, which is very, very helpful. I think that we can push it even further if you wanted. Let's listen again.
It's your birthday.
It's your birthday. I'm okay with that. It's your birthday.
It's your birthday, so
You could if you're stressing your, because it kind of sounds like you're stressing your here, which is fine. I'm okay with stressing your. But if that is the case, then I would maybe go lower in pitch on birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. So I think just something like that could be effective. Just a note there. It's your birthday. So you spoil yourself. So I would stress spoil most likely.
so you should spoil yourself.
You should spoil yourself. I wouldn't stress yourself. I would stress spoil. So you should spoil yourself. So it's your birthday. So you should spoil yourself.
So you should spoil yourself. Order what
Do you hear that? The reason I felt like yourself is the stressed word when you're saying it here is because it went higher in pitch.
spoil yourself.
Spoil yourself. Spoil yourself. Versus spoil yourself. It's like taking 3 steps down. Spoil yourself. You should spoil yourself. They did add the word should. They didn't have it in the
So you should
transcript.
spoil yourself.
So you should spoil yourself. So you should spoil yourself. Do you hear the difference there? How much more dynamic it is? I have more pitches. There's more movement going on. So you should spoil yourself.
You should spoil yourself.
So you should spoil yourself. That's just a lot flatter versus you should spoil yourself. How about the second half of this?
Self. Order whatever you want from the restaurant.
Order whatever you want from the restaurant.
Order whatever you want from the restaurant. Order whatever you want from the restaurant.
Order whatever you want from the restaurant. Order whatever you want. A couple things here. So I do agree that I would have two thought groups in this little sentence, like order whatever you want, and then from the restaurant on its own. Let me see if you have two thought groups as well.
Spoil yourself. Order whatever you want from the restaurant.
Yeah, you to order whatever you want from the restaurant. You can even make the argument there's three, like order, thought group, whatever you want, thought group from the restaurant. But let's stick with two for now. Order whatever you want, order whatever you want. I would really consider stressing whatever.
Order whatever you want from the
But it sounds like you're stressing what? Order whatever you want. So that sounds like stress on what versus order whatever you want, order whatever you want, something like that.
restaurant. Want from the restaurant.
Something sounds a little choppy there.
Order whatever you want from the restaurant.
From the restaurant. It almost feels like we want to roll the th. So I go lighter on that. From the. This is another situation too. A lot of times, what happens when you have an M or an N that comes before a th, a lot of times the sound gets repeated and the th disappears. It's like from the adding an N sound after the M, from the restaurant, because it's physically hard to say from the restaurant. And that's kind of what we hear in the same audio file, just the difficulty of that phrase.
Order whatever you want from the restaurant.
From the restaurant versus from the restaurant, So that's just some quick things there. I like what you're doing. I'm going to play the audio again, then play how I would read it.
It's your birthday, so you should spoil yourself. Order whatever you want from the restaurant.
It's your birthday, so you should spoil yourself. Order whatever you want from the restaurant. Something of that nature. Thanks to Marcos for sending that file. We got one down. Got a few more on deck.
I remember when I was a kid, my parents were very strict about giving me any kinds of sugar. And nowadays, if I eat something sweet, it just gives me a headache. But the problem now is that my kids, they just love it.
Ooh, a tricky situation with kids. Do you guys have kids? Do your kids have sweet tooth? Who likes sugar more? Do you like sugar more? Or do your kids like sugar more?
I remember when I was a kid, my parents were very strict about giving me any kinds of sugar. I remember when I was a kid, my parents were very strict about giving me any kinds of sugar. I remember when I was a kid, my parents were very.
Okay, so one of the things that I think you're kind of doing, but not committing 100%, is when you're shifting from one thought group to the next, transitioning with the pitch level as well. Now, if you don't know what a thought group is, I've already referenced it a couple times. So you're probably like, what is happening? But a thought group is basically a group of words that go together in a sentence before your next group of words. A lot of times there's a pause thrown in there somewhere. But what I would really recommend with this one here is I would say that I think you're stressing the right. I can hear the shifts happening, but they're happening more on the stressed words than on the like kind of like the thought group level. I'll try to give an example.
I remember when I was a kid.
I remember when I was a kid. I remember when I was a kid. So even that part. So we have the I remember, and then we have the when I was a kid, and you do have good stress.
I remember when I was a kid.
You're stressing I. When I was. I remember when I was a kid. Versus I remember when I was a kid, like something like that, or I remember when I was a kid, like it's something like that. Just being a little bit more dynamic with the switch, I think would be really effective here. Next one.
I was a kid. My parents were very strict about giving me any kinds of sugar.
Placement goes high. It's going high, especially when the short I sound, the sound. I feel like you're making it more of an e sound. So, like for instance, we see this was strict. So it says streaked, more strict. Okay. Parents were very strict about giving. Strict about giving. That's the part I would look out for.
Very strict about giving me any kinds of sugar.
Yeah, give me any kinds of. The whole placement just is really shooting up right around that part. And that's the tricky thing with placement is that you could be saying everything great, but then there's one word where the placement goes high, and then all the rest of the sentence goes high as well. So just kind of watching out for that.
Parents were very strict about giving me any kinds of sugar. And nowadays, if I eat something sweet, it just gives me a headache, but very strict sugar. And nowadays, if I eat something sweet, it just gives me a headache, but
Kind of similar things here. Eat something sweet versus eat something sweet.
nowadays, if I eat something sweet,
The sweet versus sweet. Here, difference sweet is sweet.
and nowadays, if I eat something sweet,
Sweet, sweet. Um, and there was another thing I wanted to mention.
kinds of sugar. And nowadays, if I eat something sweet,
If I if so again, we're seeing a short I sound becoming an E sound. So like again, it's not if, it's more f. If I eat something sweet,
give me any kinds of sugar.
sugar. I'd also say when you're saying sugar, see if you can take that second syllable lower in pitch. It's going to have more contrast. So it's not sugar, it's sugar. Hear the difference? Sugar, sugar. We want more of that second one. Sugar, more breath, slightly lower.
And nowadays, if I eat something sweet, it just gives me a headache.
You'll see the short I sound on gives. So it's like gives me a headache, gives me a headache versus gives me a headache, gives me a headache.
But the problem now is that my kids, they just love it.
My kids, they just versus my kids, they just. That's like again watching off the time there.
But the problem now is that my kids, they just love it.
Yeah. So again, pay attention to what we mentioned about thought groups and changing the pitch registers more, and also pay attention to some of those stress words, the ones we recommended or the ones we removed. I'll read through this really quick. I'm keeping these things in mind, trying to transition from one thought group to the next with pitch. I remember when I was a kid, my parents were very strict about giving me any kinds of sugar. And nowadays, if I eat something sweet, it just gives me a headache. But the problem is that now my kids, they just love it. Final part of the text. Cool. All right, Sycamore, those are the main things that kind of stand out to me right there for that file. Of course, if you have other questions, be sure to let me know.
Now, baby, listen, baby, don't treat me this way. Girl, I'll be back in my feet someday. Don't care if you do, cause I'm so you got no money. You just no good willis if you say so. I'll have to bang things and go. That's right, road Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. What you say, road Jack? And don't you
Hitting the
come back
falsetto.
no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
All right. Look at us getting our singing in. Look at us. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. Uh I'll be honest, I don't have a whole lot to say there. I like you're hitting some of those like falsettos, things like that, which is great. You know, especially with like the no mores and things. Um,
Now, baby, listen, baby, don't treat me this way. Girl, I'll be back in my feet someday. Don't care if
uh, that part there sounds slightly flat.
girl, I'll be back in my feet someday.
Do that. Back on my feet someday versus back on my like feet someday. Like you probably want to just touch on that pitch there on someday. And also like I'll be back on my feet. It should be back on my feet. I'm looking for the where. So that'll be yeah, back on my feet because I didn't feel like I heard that.
Back in my feet someday.
Back on my feet someday. Back on my feet, like feet someday.
Me this way, girl, I'll be back in my feet
Yes, I feel like I'm hearing back in my versus back on my. Because just know about there about the vowel sound. So back on my.
someday. Don't care if you do, cause I'm so you got no
Some words are getting lost again.
someday. Don't care if you do, cause I'm so you.
I didn't hear the it's. I just hear cause understood versus cause it's understood.
You got no money, you just no good willis if you say so. I'll have to bang things and go. That's right, road Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. What you say, road Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the
All
road,
right.
Jack. And don't you come back no more.
Yeah, those are the big things. They're just some little word things that kind of came up. But thank you for sharing your voice as always, Shook. I know it can be a scary experience for people, but you're doing it so well. We always look forward to it. So thank you for doing that. Let's keep. I wish I had more feedback than that, but looking at those two parts, those are the two parts that kind of really jumped out at me in terms of sounds, and also words that sound like they went missing. Who next? Is this file I made? I'm gonna start taking in the sounds of your voice. Oh, look at that. A plus. That was a beautiful file,
We
right,
can't be
baby?
seen to be working with someone like you if you're posting this content, especially in LinkedIn. So take it down.
All right. It's got the dramatic speech. Let's play that again.
We can't be seen to be working with someone like you if you're posting this content, especially in LinkedIn. So take it down.
Okay. There's one place where the word was, I'll be honest, without the transcript, I got a little bit lost on. And then the ending, I feel like we're again kind of having some placement things come up where we're feeling really tight. We're projecting from a higher spot. So things are coming off a little tight.
We can't be seen to be working with
We can't, it's almost like can't be seen versus can't. Again, a little different in American English compared to other versions of English.
we can't be seen to be
We can't be seen. We can't be seen. I would still get a little bit more and. So I would practice like n. What sound does letter N make? If you say the letter N makes a n sound, I have some very unfortunate news. That is not the sound we are looking for. No, the sound we were actually looking for is something more like mm, mm. Yes, so more. So getting that it's more trying to project from a lower position is really going to help open up that sound. The reason I bring that up is because sometimes, again, your consonant sounds. If you have a consonant sound that has a high placement that's really tense, it can carry over to the vowel sounds. So you want to be always very, very careful with your consonant sounds to keep the placement low and the projection open. Lots of breath, feel your diaphragm. You don't want the rest of your word to tense up. And I think that's kind of what's happening in this situation here.
we can't be seen to be working.
We can't be seen versus we can't be seen. Like we can't be seen. You're also paying attention to the pitch rhythm there. So it sounds to me like you're stressing can't, which is fine. That can work. Then all the syllables after it need to go down in pitch until you get to your next thought groups. Like we can't be seen to be working with someone like you. You can really get low with this phrase here. We can't be seen to be working with someone like you. Do you see how just everything just kind of gets pulled down? So that's a very common pattern.
We can't be seen to be working with someone like you.
And I don't think we quite got that movement. I think we got a little stuck. Let's see if we can get where everything got stuck at.
We can't be seen to be working with someone like you.
We can't be seen to be working with someone like you. We can't be seen to be working with someone like you. Um, I would again do two thought groups there. I would go lower on the second thought group personally. You can go higher too, but I personally would go lower. We can't be seen to be working with someone like you.
Be working with someone like you.
Someone like you. Someone like you.
Be working with someone like you.
Someone like you. Sounds to me when you're making that L sound, tip of your tongues against your top of your mouth. That's fine. You can make an L sound that way if that's true. But I would recommend experimenting with different positions just to kind of see what they feel like. I would do tip of tongue down against the bottom of the mouth. Someone like. That's tip of my tongue pressed down against the bottom of my mouth. Someone like. So watch out for that.
Someone like you. If you're posting this content,
If you're posting this content. So this is your next stock group. And you've kind of, from a listener's perspective, you put me in a tricky position because I don't know which word you're stressing. Are you stressing? Let's listen again.
like you. if you're posting this
That one. If you're posting, you hear how strong that your is? If you're posting. We have some attitude coming in. I like attitude.
someone like you,
If
if
you're
you're
posting
posting
this
this
content.
content,
So, but the problem is, so yours sounds like that heavy stress. So my guess is yours probably a stress you wanted. Content probably not the stress you wanted.
posting this content, especially in we can't be seeing someone like you if you're posting this content,
If you're posting this content, if you're posting this content, if you're posting this content. So I would maybe do a falling intonation on content, second syllable, like content. Um, I would also say finally for this first part, you want to try to get a little bit more breath through because this is sounding pretty closed off. So instead of your, more your, someone like you if you're posting if you're posting this content. If you don't want to do that, you want to stay in the same general way of pronouncing it as now. Then the key thing is make sure you have a low enough placement. So your so say your, it's more your. So again, just trying to practice saying it from a lower position. Last couple of things for this file,
content, especially in LinkedIn.
especially in LinkedIn. Okay, that's super tight. We're not letting like any breath through on that file. I'll be honest. What I will also say is for social media platforms and things, we're not going to use in. You're going to use on. So like especially on LinkedIn. Especially on LinkedIn.
Especially in LinkedIn. Especially in LinkedIn.
Almost sounds like you're saying nicotine, like the drug in cigarettes, especially in nicotine. Especially in nicotine. Am I the only one who thinks that?
Content, especially in LinkedIn.
See it, especially in nicotine versus especially in nicotine. Just to know, but that's not even the real question. Uh, we can't be saying we work with someone like you if you're posting this content, especially on LinkedIn. So yeah, not a bad
Content,
system there,
especially in LinkedIn.
especially on LinkedIn. The other thing too. So what's happening is you're stressing linked.
Especially in LinkedIn.
Do that LinkedIn versus LinkedIn. Stress in this case is going to fall in. LinkedIn, LinkedIn. The most common way you're going to hear that pronounced in honesty is with the past. I mean, the past is the afternoon. I mean, the past part. LinkedIn, the second syllable on LinkedIn, especially on LinkedIn, LinkedIn, LinkedIn. So instead of LinkedIn, it's LinkedIn. Very often when you hear people talking about. All right, guys. In the interest of time, I'm going to keep us rolling. But thank you so much for sending that file. We appreciate you guys. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to just everyone who's
He milled around the
been doing
post
it.
office looking for his mail package.
Oh, okay. That's it. All right, let's play that again.
He milled around the post office looking for his mail package.
Again, so some pitch and placement things are going to be the big ones that I want to target. This in the chat. All right, and move myself over here. Okay, he milled around the post office looking for his mail package. Okay. He milled around the post office. So your first thought group, the words that are jumping out at you for stress are going to be either milled or post. So post office is a compound noun, so that means you stress post. We have some things that are really competing for attention.
He milled around the post office.
He milled around the post office. Around the post. So here's some options. I wouldn't personally do that option because that's a lot of stress words in a single thought group. So instead, I would pick one, either milled or post. He milled around the post office. He milled around the post office. Versus he milled around the post office. He milled around the post office. He milled around the post office. I personally like the milled around the post office more than the other one personally.
Milled around the post office. He milled around the post office.
Placement's really high. You can kind of hear that on some sounds, for instance, like post. Almost feels like a post. I don't think you actually said it that way, but just kind of start thinking about it.
Post office. Post office. He milled around the post office.
Yeah, still feel like also I'm getting like post versus post. When we can kind of check yourself to just say like oh, then add a constant os, then add everything. Post. Os post. Os post. Os post. So just a note there.
Post office looking for his mail package.
Looking for his mailed package. Looking for his mailed package. I think just grammatically or vocab wise, I'm a little bit confused. Looking for his mailed package. Um, so like, I guess the biggest thing would just be context to kind of get a better understanding what's happening here. But let's that aside, let's kind of just focus on what we have. He milled around the post office looking for his mailed package. Um, besides that, uh, just this back.
He milled around the post office looking for his mail package.
Yeah, so the words I want you to pay attention to again are milled, post office, and package in the last one. These are things that I think will have a pretty big impact if we're able to work them out. So again, it's not milled, it's more milled. It's not post office, it's more post office. Other things we see again for the mailed package. So we use it using that as well. So if I were reading this whole thing, he milled around the post office, looking for his mailed package. It's just a note there. Other things that are standing out.
He milled around the post office looking for his mail package.
I would also say that last thought group is very flat. Looking for his mailed, looking for his mailed.
His mail package. Post office looking for his mail package.
Looking for his mailed package versus looking for his mailed package. Looking for his mailed passage. So that's one option, is just take everything down. If you don't like that, then you can push everything up. You know, he mailed around the post office looking for his mailed package. So you can kind of hear the difference was there for comparison. But thanks to Emmanuel for sending that file. We appreciate you. Closing that one out. And yeah, we have seen all of these files, which is great. Get us. We have done it. Okay. But again, I do have some good news, bad news, all in one. The good news is our Telegram group is going to keep rocking. It's been going 2 years now. I don't know how long it's been a thing. But I do have to say we only have 4 spaces left at this price point. Okay, we only have 4 places left just because of this. So I need everyone to just kind of continue being attentive to your surroundings and things like that. It's going to have a big impact. Trying to think other things. Oh, for the Telegram group too, it's every single day, Monday through Sunday, and then we're back at it again the next day. Okay, so that way you can get a little bit of daily pronunciation practice in. I'm just going to walk through the steps really quick. If you are interested, even just slightly, in what we just discussed, I want to work with you through some things that may be really helpful for him that he may enjoy. Just have to get rid of my face. I must get rid of my face. Okay. I always forget which one is that. You know what? I think I see Emmanuel talking about. Or was it Emmanuel? Someone was talking about how, just like referring to different sports and things like that, and how accurate it is. What else? I literally have nothing. I'm also super tired. I'm not going to lie. So I might close this out here. So if you listen to our files, or you didn't listen to our files, or at least like submit them, hopefully you're able to find some value from everything we've done here. I'm continuing watching out for placement, pitch, breath, weakening, consonant sound, strengthening vowels. These are all super important skills if you want to take your athletic career to a new level. And again, once more, my name is Jeff. Rhymes with breath, which is one of 4 key ingredients to natural American English. Thank you guys so much for joining me again this late session. My apologies, but we'll be back not this upcoming week, but the next week with some different tools. All right, you guys take care. Have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon.